monetary choice. So what we have here is, I just want to make sure I can scroll here. Yeah. So what we have here is basically I have ranked all the films since forever based on box office earnings, but adjusted for inflation. And I used the price of gas to adjust for inflation. And so bringing us to like current day, Top Gun Maverick or Maverick Top Gun is making the headlines because it's doing so well. Some say it's listed as number 5 all time, and it's number 5 all time when it comes to dollars brought in. But as we know, dollars aren't worth as much as they used to be. And you can see they're worth based on the price of gas, but you can see Top Gun has brought in about $1.4 billion, which is great, and a lot of people rave about the movie, so this is not a comment on the movie. It's just about sort of making sense of numbers and using presenting numbers that are accurate or that, tell a real story. So Top Gun Maverick brought in $1.4 billion, but the price of gas right now is $4.21. And so it has brought in the equivalent of 342 billion gallons of gas. So just right next to it, you can see, I don't know what this is, but it's A Bug's Life. But you can see it hasn't done as well as A Bug's Life, which back in 1998 brought in $363 million, but the price of gas was $1.06, so it brought in a little bit more gallons of gas. So Top Gun is doing very well, but it has not outranked A Bug's Life by Walt Disney. So we'll have to keep track of that. But just digging into this further is that basically in 1998, $1 bought, this is actually helpful, 1 gallon of gas. It was like sort of par, I guess they would say. But today, 1 gallon of gas only buys, $1, one Federal Reserve dollar only buys one fourth of a gallon of gas. So you need $4 to do it. So the dollar is worth 1/4 what it used to be. And that's why you could take 1.4 billion and to adjust for inflation, you really have to divide it by 4 because these dollars are worth 1/4 of these dollars here are worth 1/4 the value of these dollars back in 1998. So it's a real sad thing. The dollar's gone down, what was that, 75% or something. But so outside of that, just if you really want to rank anything with accuracy, you can't use the dollar. I mean, right now you could see Top Gun Maverick. Some people are saying it's the 5th of all time. It isn't. It's the 122nd. It hasn't even done as well as A Bug's Life. And so that's so funny. But so you have to use something else. Now, in this case, I'm using the price of gas. I'm using gallons of gas, a commodity. I'm measuring it based on the quantity of gas, the equivalent to the quantity of gas. I mean, even better would be a basket of commodities because, but gas is a good one because like everything requires gas, to get, to produce the film, you need to drive people around and everyone needs to get to the theater, etc. Anyway, gas is a very big part of it. But there's other commodities that would be helpful as well. So this is, though, I think is a radical step in the right direction. And if you want to jump to the top, and you can see like it would be, when you adjust for inflation, Top Gun Maverick goes from number 5 down to 122, a loss of 117, whereas A Bug's Life was 341, and it goes up 220 points in the ranking when you adjust for inflation. And adjust for inflation means when you present accurate numbers that actually mean something, because Top Gun Maverick is not the 5th best by far, so that has no meaning, right? Like, okay, 5th in dollars, like, okay, thanks. What else is new? Or, what's the weather? What I really want to know is an accurate ranking. I want to be able to rank. I want to be able to compare 1970 to 2020, and you can't do that with dollars because the value of the money has gone down so much. So you have to use something else. And in this case, I'm using gas, and you can say, well, there's all different reasons for not using gas. That's fine, but it's better than the dollar. And just to end, you can see like what is the 5th best movie? And you can see actually it was quite recent. It was the Avengers End-Game, which was like huge, evidently. I didn't see it, but I guess it brought in a bunch of superheroes that attracted a lot of, a really widespread, excuse me, audience. And then you have Avatar, which everyone knows, Star Wars, obviously. But you can see how when you adjust for inflation using a commodity or not using the dollar, let's just start with that, you can see how you can then compare films from 1939 to 2019, and put them on the same level and sort of compare apples to apples. So Avengers has done very well, and Avatar, of course, did very well, and Titanic. So the big story is Avengers was just a crazy blockbuster, and Avengers did well even with people streaming. It brought in so many people. And now I do want to point out, just to sort of pivot to something else, but I think I've made my point that this is inflation-adjusted box office rankings. Top Gun is 122, not number 5. But maybe I'll make another video that just talks about films in general or something related to that. But hope this was helpful.